Hi everyone, welcome back to your 2025 horoscopes for the month of November. Time is flying by so fast, and the big headliner of this month is, of course, Mercury Retrograde. This is not a normal one. I'm warning you guys. It's gonna conjunct Mars several times, as we've already seen during the pre-retrograde phase of Mercury, and it's also gonna oppose Uranus several times. So yeah, it's gonna create a lot of chaos, a lot of delays in travel, especially where I'm gonna get more into later. And we're also gonna see a full moon in the sign of Taurus and a new moon in Scorpio. So the financial axis is getting really, really implicated this month. So welcome back to my channel. My name is Astrid. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's dive into the month of October. So these are the transits and the ingresses for this month. And we're going to start off with Mars entering the sign of Sagittarius, and that's going to happen on the 4th of November. So Mars switching from Scorpio to Sagittarius is going to be a very welcoming shift for a lot of people. Mars in Scorpio was very, very deep, very, very intense to say the least, and now it's going to make its shift into Sag. So yeah, the collective energy is gonna change to a more lighter and bolder and like more of a restless motion kind of energy rather than like, yeah, after the deep and intense waters of like Mars and Scorpio, this can feel like striking a match in a dark room. So it can spark a lot of adventure and truth and freedom. Mars, of course, it is about our drive and motivation, and it's also about our raw instinct to act. And Sag is, of course, ruled by Jupiter, and that one always expands things. So there can be a collective drive to go out and explore, speak out more, yeah, and really test the edges of what's possible, especially with the Mercury retro happening in that sign as well. So, of course, this is more the energy of like the philosopher warrior and the explorer, and it can definitely stir a lot of fiery debates about our beliefs, about justice, about education, and also about culture. So Mars here, it does want the truth. It's not about politeness. It wants the raw truth. And with a Mercury retro, on top of that, there's a very, very big emphasis on truth this month. So, yeah, we can take some more risks. We can have an urge to travel, to learn new things. And also, yeah, really pursue new experience with a lot of passion. So, share your ideas, speak your truth, and know that, like, yeah, avoid assuming that your truth is the only one. There's going to be a lot of feisty debates going on over the month of November because, yeah, the shadow side of Mars and Sag is, of course, dogmatism. There can be a little bit more of overconfidence, also recklessness. Also, be a bit more careful on the road. There can be more of a road rage and people really, yeah, aggravated and like frustrated with all the conjunctions of Mars and Mercury that we're about to see and already saw. So yeah, let your energy, Mars is about energy, so let your energy be led by curiosity and not by any type of conquest. And do not think that your truth is the only correct truth, because that is gonna definitely spark some debate for sure. So on November the 5th, we're going to have a full moon in the sign of Taurus, and that's going to happen at 13 degrees. Here we can look at the chart. So yeah, Taurus, it illuminates the themes of stability, security, our self-worth, values, but definitely it is about the material realm. So Taurus, yeah, it is about grounding and also, yeah, what we value, what we need, what we own, what we share, what we are able to really are willing to build, and how we sustain those things as well. So yeah, these lunations, they always coincide with a lot of financial revelations, a lot of turning points within relationships as well. There can also be, yeah, this is actually powerful time for manifestation happening in the financial and earthly and material realm. Taurus is, of course, a fixed sign, an earth sign that's fixed. So yeah, there's an emphasis on building these strong foundations, and it can also highlight where when we're clinging too much to comfort, that can create a lot of stagnation, actually. So but definitely a lot of people are going to feel a deep pull to return to our bodies, to really be more in tune with our bodies, to have nice food, to enjoy the finer things in life, connect more to the earth, walk barefoot during this time, and it's also about these practical forms of abundance. So another important factor as well is that Uranus is about to dip back into Taurus as well. So this full moon is definitely gonna carry a lot of unexpected events and sudden shifts that can be around Mother Earth, of course, so environmental issues, but also about our economy and a lot of financial issues that are gonna be highlighted by that as well. So beautiful time to connect to Mother Earth, to have some sensual experiences, to just enjoy a good meal with a loved one as well. But yeah, definitely with Mars opposing Uranus as well, there is definitely this electrifying atmosphere that is going to stir a lot of global tension, actually. The lunation is also going to highlight land and security, and it's also going to trigger events that is going to be connected to Israel's North Node. There's going to be a lot of karmic turning points in matters of national destiny and also peace agreements. And the Taurus-Scorpio axis, that is always about themes of survival and resources and actually power that is getting amplified or exposed as well. And Mars in Sag opposing Uranus in Gemini can really produce these ideological shockwaves. It is about radical beliefs and sudden surprising protests, and also people really acting on conviction rather than on reason. So can feel very restless, very reactive, and there's going to be this tension up in the air, and then unwilling to compromise. So that can definitely be a little bit of a more tense full moon, especially with Uranus about to dip back into Taurus as well. So we can also actually expect a lot of sudden political or military moves, and that is going to be fused by this ideological radicalization, because Mars in Sag is really about it really fuels this belief-driven conflict energy of Mars. So economic volatility, we're going to see a lot of fluctuations in currencies, especially also in cryptocurrencies, because that's also part of Uranus, and also, Taurus rules over currencies. But also with Uranus back into Taurus, you can expect a lot of potential weather disruptions. So what just happened in Jamaica, my heart really goes out to these people. We know that they've been geoengineering. We know as a fact that Neptune has caused a lot of floods as well. Being in this time window where Neptune is just back into Pisces and Uranus is about to move back into Taurus, this is really like a window of half a year in which we are going to see an increase in very, very big disasters connected to earthquakes, volcanoes, major floods, and very big storms, as we've just saw, unfortunately. So on November the 6th, Venus is going to enter Scorpio, and Venus in Scorpio doesn't do love halfway. It is all or nothing. It is about diving into the depths of our passion. It's about loyalty. Venus is going to really seek to intensify and really transform relationships. And this is not about surface level attraction. This one goes deep. Scorpio is a very, very deep sign. And the transit in the sign of Scorpio and now connected to Venus is going to bring magnetism, sensuality, and a lot of emotional honesty. But there is, however, a very big potential for jealousy and control issues and definitely obsession if we cling too tightly. And that can really, really backfire. So be a little bit mindful about that. Venus is in detriment in Scorpio. So yeah, the energy really tends towards like these extremes and lack of moderation, and emotions are definitely gonna run very, very hot in the relationship area. But Scorpio and Venus are of course also about money that we share with others as well. So there can be a push-pull between that happening in relationships, and love and hate. There's actually a very thin line between that, and we're gonna notice that in the upcoming time with Venus and Scorpio. But of course, the deeper purpose here is alchemy. And Scorpio also gives us a kind of psychic sensitivity, and it has a big ability to really intuitively feel what other people's needs or wants or motives are. There can be a very big, mysterious telepathy going on between souls if you're romantically involved with one another as well. So trust your intuition, but don't feed into the paranoia that this one can give. And of course, big emphasis on money. We have a full moon in Taurus, with the ruler of that is Venus. We just had 2 weeks ago a moon in Libra as well, which was about Venus. And now when we have the new moon happening in the sign of Scorpio, Venus will be in Scorpio. So yeah, there's the past few weeks and the upcoming weeks, there is a very, very big emphasis on money. And with Mercury Retrograde in the sign of Sag back into Scorpio, we're definitely going to see a lot of scandals being a lot of scandals are going to rise to the surface in regards to money and people who are in power, how they are actually using our money as well. So yeah, it's like all very, very much connected this week, this month, excuse me. But Scorpio, of course, is also what kind of power dynamics do you hold, like over others, or to what power dynamics do you surrender? And the emphasis is on love and finances in the Scorpio department. So yeah, of course, it is about deep soul bonding as well. It's about regeneration. And it also reminds us that love isn't always soft. Sometimes it burns, it purifies, and it resurrects, where the sign of Scorpio is very, very famous for. So yeah, big spiritual alchemy happening in the love department, but definitely some surprises that are connected to our finances. Because on November the 7th, Uranus is going to retrograde back in the sign of Taurus. And yeah, Taurus, it is also about, of course, Earth, as I've already mentioned, but it's about our financial systems. It's about our land, our security, environmental change. That can really send a lot of shock waves on Mother Earth here. So there's actually going to be a lot of unexpected shifts in the material reality going on. It's about our value systems as well. There can be, of course, Uranus is the planet of radical change. There's going to be a lot of tension between the old and the new. And for the time being, which is from November the 7th till April 2026, next year, Uranus will be in Taurus for its last breath. So definitely some shocks in regards to our money and our fiat system. And yeah, there's going to be change in that, but I'm going to make a whole other video about Uranus and Taurus for the last time, because definitely it's also connected to agriculture and a lot of economic volatility. And we're going to definitely see some new technologies being invented in agriculture, but also in finance. So yeah, it's also about embracing these new approaches to sustainability and what security actually means. And there can be a lot of unexpected breakthroughs in how we handle our money and our land. And that is going to be like the last big transformation happening in the sign of Taurus for the next few months. So on November the 9th, we can see the start of Mercury retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius. So yeah, Sag is about expanding our minds. It is about the bigger picture, grand ideas, philosophy, these sweeping perspectives that can actually feel like life is meaningful. So Mercury in Sag, it loves to explore, it loves to talk, it loves to exchange ideas. It's very optimistic, very eager to share its truth. But unlike its opposite sign on the other side of the wheel, which is Gemini, that one thrives on precision and detail. But Sagittarius can sometimes skip over like the fine print. It's like the energy can lift our perspective, but it can also make us very overconfident and actually imprecise and not caring too much about the facts, because the belief system dominates here in how we communicate right now. So there can be like an overly idealisticness in how we communicate with each other. So on November the 18th, Mercury is going to retrograde back into the sign of Scorpio, and then it's going to pull our thoughts and conversations more inward, more into the depth. And yeah, what was once like big and bold with the sign of Sag now is going to become way more intimate and investigative as well. Mercury in Sag exposes where we've been like too vague, or where we've been like too grand or too certain about belief systems. And it's going to highlight where our narratives may have outgrown the truth. And think back to last fall of 2024, because then we also had a Mercury retrograde in the sign of Sag. And that coincided with the US presidential elections. And now it's happening again. There are again elections during this time in the US. So I think a lot of people are going to share very openly how they've changed their minds since the fall of 2024. There are a lot of false promises by either side were made, and how that has like really implicated the society up until now. So there's still a US government shutdown, and there's going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of secrets that are going to get exposed, definitely, when we go back into the sign of Scorpio. And of course, Mercury is going to, when it re-enters Scorpio, the mind turns more to like emotional intelligence. And it's when we are going to start to really investigate not only our own psyche, but also like the hidden motives or from other people, and definitely those who are in Scorpio. It is about people who are really in power. And there's definitely going to be some scandals rising up from the depths, those who have been lingering beneath the surface for over a year. And Mercury will oppose Uranus and Taurus. So there's a very, very strong financial exchange theme going on here. We're going to have a lot of sudden insights about money, about shared resources, about who we've trusted. There's going to be a very big shift in our belief system because of the things that are going to get exposed in the month of November. So I'm going to talk more about Mercury retrograde because this is such a special one, and I'm of course going to do a whole video about that. Then November the 11th, Jupiter is going to station retrograde in the sign of Cancer. So again, our focus turns more inwards towards emotional healing, our home, our ancestors, our family, our roots, and where we belong. So Jupiter, as we already know, it touches whatever it expands whatever it touches. So, but in retrograde motion, it's often going to magnify our inner growth over these external successes. So nurture your roots. You can revisit family stories from the past. You can also heal patterns that are actually tied to security and emotional trust, which is actually beautiful while we're having these new and full moon happening in the financial axis as well. So in the collective, we're going to see this transit really highlighting issues regarding to housing, There's going to be big talks and big revelations about our birth rate numbers. Can also be about emotional undercurrents happening in politics right now. But yeah, the sign of Cancer, it really cares. It is about protection, and it's also about the past, and it's quite emotional. So old wounds are going to surface to actually liberate us through understanding more whenever the truth gets piece by piece, a little bit more released during this Mercury retrograde. So yeah, emotional intelligence is going to become your superpower. And smart people always say, like, you never know enough, and you need to give it time in order for the truth to come out. So the more you know, the less you know. That is like, if that is your belief system during the month of November, then you're on the right path. Otherwise, if you're very, very convinced, and if you are flipping over into righteousness, then November can be quite often difficult month for you. So on the 12th of November, Mercury retrograde is gonna conjunct Mars in Sag. So that's like really passionate, outspoken energy. Can be a little bit volatile with the opposition to Uranus, of course, and just know that your words are gonna carry extra fire right now. Conversations turn into be very sharp and blunt and fast, really revealing truths that people may have been avoiding before. It's going to ignite heated debates and a lot of passionate declarations, definitely on the political scene. There can also be like a very big, rapid, collective narrative shift, especially in media and politics, and can also be in regards to education. But a lot of people are going to feel very, very, activated by this energy and finally have like the courage to speak out or to act upon their beliefs. That, however, when it's not balanced correctly, that especially during the full moon on November the 5th, that can like really turn into violent actions due to radicalized beliefs. That is a little bit worrisome, to be honest, because Mars and Sag really, that goes after they fight for their beliefs, and we're already in this spiritual war. In the Middle East, there's this religious war going on as well, and this is really going to intensify, the narratives, the narrative of the people. So choose your words very, very careful, and actually direct your passion into constructive action, and be careful about reckless outbursts. But for those who are a little bit timid and are a little bit shy, this transit can really help you for like reclaiming your voice and standing up for your beliefs. And it's very helpful for cutting through the mental fog, but only if it's tempered with all of awareness and respect. And I'm afraid that is going to be a little bit missing this month. On November the 18th and the 19th, on November the 18th, Mercury is going to dip back into Scorpio, and on the 19th, it's going to oppose Uranus. So sudden revelations, a lot of shocking news. There can be unexpected mental breakthroughs happening as well. A lot of hidden information can surface suddenly, and it's going to challenge definitely our old beliefs, and it's going to really, really destabilize the familiar, the things that we're used to. And the collective conversations during this time, and actually during the entire month of November, are going to center around financial systems and financial systems breaking down. Secrets in regards to money, power dynamics, and this transit can really be the aha moment. Even if the insight might feel a bit disruptive. We're also going to see a lot of technological glitches. We're also going to see a lot of, hopefully not too many accidents in regards to travel, but definitely be careful on the road. if you're traveling and you're taking an airplane or a train, calculate some extra time in for delays. That is also gonna be happening. But definitely when it's opposing Uranus multiple times, we can definitely expect some shocks and some chaos and havoc happening in the whole travel department. Fingers crossed that we're not going to see a major airplane accident, because I'm a little bit worried about that. Either way, be careful when driving. Definitely Mars and Mercury together, and then Mercury opposing Uranus almost in the same week can definitely put a big emphasis on people feeling frustrated because things are not going fast enough, because Mercury and Mars together, they are very, very action packed. It is about like being very, very busy. A lot of people have like overscheduled or are like too busy, they feel like there is not enough time to get things done. And I've already like really felt that during the pre-shadow phase of Mercury right now. We've already seen multiple airports. Actually, a lot of airports have been closing down, shut down, have been closing due to these drones and all these unidentified objects flying around. We've seen a lot of technological glitches where people weren't able to check in, or gates not opening, and all these type of weird things. Like the entire month of November is going to be very difficult to travel, and Mercury will be in its post-retrograde phase until the middle of December. So actually, I was going to travel during the month of December. Definitely, I would not be doing it during the month of November. I was going to plan a trip around December, but I've just like decided not to do it because I'm a Mars. I'm an Aries with Mars in Sagittarius. That is like my main planet. And yeah, it's like weaved in with the Mercury retrograde. I'm a Virgo rising. Mercury is actually my chart ruler. So, and my third and my ninth house axis is strongly implicated by Mars, Uranus, and the Mercury retrograde. So I've just like decided to not travel this year and to really wait until the Mercury retrograde post-shadow phase is going to be over. Of course, it's not going to be so dramatic for everyone. That's why I'm like mentioning my aspects and my sign and my axis being implicated. But definitely, if you're an Aries or a Virgo rising, or if you have anything happening in the ninth or the third house during this chaotic month, just be a little bit more careful. Really plan everything up in advance. Calculate some extra time in. Be ready for some delays. And just be a bit mindful when you're driving somewhere because of frustration that can really take the upper hand. So the positive side of this is, of course, that the truths that are going to be revealed by all these important aspects this month, it can be uncomfortable, but in the end, it can be very, very empowering. So this is about mental awakening, and it is about problem solving in a very innovative way as well. And that is ultimately going to lead to breaking free from these old narratives, which is very, very necessary. So if that wasn't enough already, on November the 19th, we're going to have a new moon in Scorpio, and that will be exactly conjunct Mercury retrograde. Like, that is wild. Like, when I looked at the chart, I was like, wow, this is really like the universe putting a very big spotlight on the 28th degree, because we've been having a lot of 28 degrees new moons happening now in a row. It started with Libra, and it's going to go on for, if I can remember correctly, the next 4 months. But that I would need to check because I'm not sure. But here, this is actually quite important, because the Mercury retrograde, exactly at the exact same degree of the new moon, is going to put a spotlight on truths being revealed by Mercury retrograde. So this is very transformational, very truth-revealing energy, deep emotional rebirth. There's going to be endings because of this, but endings are always accompanied by new beginnings, of course, and it is, of course, a new moon in Scorpio. But Scorpio, it is the most intense sign of the zodiac, and with Mercury involved, it's going to weave these past stories and all these unspoken truths and all these subconscious insights. It's going to be weaved together. Something hidden really wants to come to light here. So set intentions around shared power, around true deep intimacy, and also psychological healing. The Mercury retrograde influence, it makes it less about like launching all these big news ideas. It is more about reclaiming our power and maybe returning to an old idea with a whole new understanding. So all the ideas that you've like put on the shelf, take them off of the shelf during a Mercury retrograde, because they can like really be very, very potent. And yeah, the new moon is going to bring a lot of secrets to the surface, especially in finance and how our government has been handling our finances. And yeah, Scorpio's energy really demands honesty and emotional courage. So yeah, very potent time for shadow work as well, but a lot of people are going to be a little bit shocked, I guess, especially with Uranus and Taurus opposing that as well. So yeah, another thing, yeah, this is like a very, very big creative rebirth. So if you've been pondering upon some old projects from the past, definitely if they're related to the Scorpio team, really dive into that, because they can be very, very potent in regards to new beginnings. And it's really also implicating a very, very big warrior energy. It did this one, especially with Mars in the sign of Sag, because of course Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio. This is about like conviction, and we're going to see potentially big religious and ideological clashes happening. People are going to cling very, very fiercely to their beliefs, and they're really going to like fight for it. But please tap into this energy in a healthy way. Use it as an opportunity to really channel your courage into a spiritual awakening, and purge what's toxic. But don't go push people's buttons right now, because it's going to backfire without a doubt. So the next one is, of course, on November the 21st. We're seeing the Sun in Scorpio opposing Uranus exactly, and the same day after that's happening, Sagittarius season is gonna start. So the Sun opposing Uranus is again a very, very big flashpoint for change and awakening and shocks and breakthroughs and surprises. There's this cosmic push to really break free from the outdated structures. Then when Sag season is gonna start, the energy is going to shift from all the intensity in Scorpio to way more expansiveness and optimistic, and it's going to shift into a more of a visionary focus. The beginning of Sag season, I really love that, because Scorpio, it like a lot of people have a very big mental breakdown during the months of Scorpio, during the month of Scorpio season, and totally understandable. So the collective mood definitely is going to shift to a more light and more optimistic kind of way, and there's this like there's going to be a renewed desire for hope and meaning. So yeah, Sag, it expands our horizons. We're going to feel more drawn to explore these philosophical questions and really seek higher understanding, especially after the Mercury retrograde and opposing Uranus. And a lot of people are going to be very inspired by this, and this can be seen as like a very big reignition point after all the truth that got exposed during the Mercury retrograde as well. So a more positive factor, and I guess I forgot to mention this on the slide. Hello, Mercury retrograde. But on November the 24th, Mercury is gonna conjunct Venus in Scorpio. And that is more beautiful. It can reopen these old love stories. It can bring emotional clarity. A lot of emotional weight in our words are carried, but this is actually the key here is radical honesty, but with compassion. Venus in Scorpio, yeah, we already know that she doesn't settle for this superficiality. And Mercury retrograde always makes these past echoes into the present. So this is like a perfect time for heartfelt conversations, and there can be intimate truths revealed that can bring very big, lasting healing energy, or like a very big, decisive turning point in that. And I actually just forgot to put in, and yeah, I forgot to put in my next slide, but yeah, it's okay. On November the 27th, Saturn is also going to station direct in Pisces. So yeah, a major energetic turning point when it depends on where Saturn is traveling in your chart. But all the lessons that we've learned since June are going to begin to crystallize. And Saturn in Pisces, it really blends discipline with intuition, and dreams need to be anchored into practical structures. There can be more clarity around boundaries, and also Saturn in Pisces is where ideals are actually meeting reality, and they often force difficulty, but that is for the necessary growth. So it's really a moment of maturation and also integration. So all these new structures now can begin to solidify. So turn your faith into action. And then on November the 29th, Mercury is going to station direct in Scorpio. So yeah, move forward with your emotional intelligence, and you're going to have more clarity regarding, the Mercury retrograde that is actually going to cut through all the illusions. So yeah, that really is going to shift from if you've been introspecting on all these past themes that are going to come up, because Mercury retrograde, it is always about like reevaluating the past 3 months. And now that introspection can be turned into empowered new action. So then also on November the 29th, Venus in Scorpio is going to oppose Uranus in Taurus. And that is definitely the classic signature of like surprise and shake-up in love and finances, and also our values. So there's definitely going to be unexpected changes in relationships due to maybe breakups or meeting someone new, or truths being revealed in regards to cheating or handling finances. So yeah, definitely going to be a big turning point. And have some flexibility and trust in the change, and really liberate what's become too rigid. Love can really evolve. It does not always have to collapse, but only if both parties really embrace growth. So yeah, just expect some little bit of disruptions. And then on November the 30th, Venus is going to enter Sag, and that is going to be way more adventurous and optimistic and loving in regards to our relationships. So romance is going to be expanded, and it's going to be way more hopeful and optimistic than when Venus was traveling through Scorpio. So, with that being said, we're going to start the 12 rising signs. I'm going to be pretty quick going over the full moon in Taurus, as I'm going to release that video quite fast or quite soon. If you don't know your rising sign, you can look that up, because it's important to first look at your rising sign, then your sun sign. If you have something important happening in your moon sign, you can check for that as well. So let's start with my fellow Aries, sun, moon, or rising. You're going to have a full moon on November the 5th in your second house in Taurus. So that is definitely a moon that is focused on your money, on your values, definitely a very financial full moon here for you. So full moons, they are about culminations, some kind of release happening, and that is going to be about your finances and your income, but it can also be about your personal stability and the things you own. Important for you, Aries, maybe you're going to have a big bill, maybe you're going to do a big purchase. Keep the receipts, because yeah, maybe you're gonna need that. Also be wary about like splurging with your money during this time, especially as Uranus is going to dip back into your second house as well, and that can definitely create a destabilizing factor in your second house. So major financial news, major purchases, payments, these always emerge under illumination in your second house. Mars, your chart ruler, is moving through feisty, fiery Sagittarius. So there's like this push-pull between spending on adventures and maybe wanting to go travel, and also staying grounded financially. So be wary and mindful about that. The ruler of this full moon is, of course, Venus. It's in Scorpio at this time. There can be a very powerful emotional or like relational undertone that is being tied to money. During the full moon, it's still, of course, in Libra in your seventh house, but it's about to shift very, very fastly over into your eighth house of shared resources. So the exact time of the full moon still in your seventh house, but it's about to dip into your eighth house quite fast after that. So it's going to have more of a bigger emphasis on the eighth house for sure. So shared finances, investments, you can actually do very, very good investment, or you can also have tips about like residual income. There can also be like exchanges happening, and intimate relationships as well. Taurus can really cling to comfort, so really watch for like a stubborn attachment to your possessions, and there's going to be like a shock or surprise in your outdated ideas of what security actually means to you. Uranus and Taurus is definitely going to add a layer of surprise or a sudden expense or like a shift in income, or there can also be a very bold decision and money happening. So yeah, built from a place of inner worth rather than fear. With Mars, your ruler in Sag in your ninth house, there can definitely be a lot of action-packed travel going on, or someone is like challenging you a little bit in your belief system. You're gonna need to look with the Mercury retrograde going back from the 9th to the 8th, really dive into your belief system and what you think or know to be true. Something or some beliefs from the past can definitely come back up to be reevaluated during that time. So then on November the 19th, you have a new moon in the sign of Scorpio. And for you, my dear Aries, that is happening in your eighth house. So that is about shared resources, intimacy, transformation, very tightly conjunct Mercury retrograde. So yeah, very highly potent, emotionally charged lunation here for you, my dear Aries. This can really bring a new beginning that is connected to debt, to inheritance, to shared money, and can also be an emphasis on a very deep emotional bonds. It is about revisiting these old patterns and actually rewriting the story, because Scorpio energy is, of course, ruled by Mars, but also by Pluto. But Mars is your chart ruler. So this lunation is actually deeply personal for you, my dear Aries, and it can be a psychological turning point. It's about power dynamics and issues in trusts, and also old wounds in regards to trauma or soul level, deep bonding. All these things might come back to the surface, so they have a chance to be transmuted. With Mercury retrograde, information may come to light, but very slowly. That can happen through conversation or like a new document that reveals new information regarding shared finances, or it could also be about a very occult or intuitive realization that suddenly pops up. So yeah, agreements that you've made about finances might need some renegotiation with Mercury retrograde here, and it's definitely gonna highlight issues around vulnerability and control. It can be a little bit intense, but it's actually a very big portal for profound healing and also for empowerment. So set intentions to releasing old fears, reclaiming your power, and also for transforming your relationship to a deep level of intimacy. And yeah, if you align yourself with new shared resources. That can also be this new moon's potential for you. Just know that this is Mars territory, and you are being asked to act very courageously, even when it requires a lot of honesty and a lot of emotional depth. So also think back to your past investments. There can be a new seed being planted in that. If you have some gains, take them out, replant them somewhere else so they can even bring you more abundance. With Uranus back into your second house, definitely some surprises in the financial axis here for you, my dear Aries. And with Mars going through Sag the entire month, definitely in your ninth house, there can also be like a spark for learning new things, for resetting your belief system. There can be some debates happening all of the month of November with people from a different cultural background. If you're traveling, you can gain a lot of new insights by people, by foreign people from a different cultural background than your own. Then Saturn is also going to go back direct into your 12th house. So think back to all the structure that you've brought into your self-sabotaging behavior, and like new, there can be a new stepping stone being found in that as well. Saturn in the 12th can also be some karmic assessments regarding to people, enemies, hidden enemies. That was what I was looking for. So Saturn in the 12th, definitely big karmic emphasis on hidden enemies and karmic bonds that might be broken in regards to that. Also watch your sleep. Saturn and Neptune back in the 12th can definitely be a time where you need to retreat a little bit more, where you need to put a big emphasis on having enough sleep. Your sleep patterns can feel, Saturn in the 12th it can be very draining, can feel lonely as well a little bit. So take a step back. Luckily, Saturn trines Jupiter in your 4th. So maybe some of you might need to isolate a little bit and find more happiness at home. Some of you definitely, if you're introverted, take some time to retreat and to connect more to the spiritual realm, and take some time to put your to add structure to your spiritual practices as well. That is going to benefit you greatly inside of the home area, inside of your family. And also, make this little sanctuary inside your home with Jupiter in the 4th going retrograde. That is definitely a time to go inwards and really tune into your emotions, and also making like a karmic conclusion in regards to your home and family, and really cutting ties with the past. Saturn is about to enter your first house or conjunct your rising pretty soon next year. Apart from that, beautiful water trines happening in the mystical houses in the 4th and the 8th and the 12th. Definitely trust your intuitive hunches during this time, because they can really your intuition is actually getting a boost from this beautiful water trine. However, because it's in the mystical houses, some of you might need to retreat a little bit more in order to find more clarity and to withdraw a little bit from the noise with the Mercury retrograde. If you're traveling, be a little bit mindful. People from a different background can be more feisty towards you. If you ruffle the wrong feathers while you're traveling, you can definitely end up in a fight with Mars in the 9th. But the positive side of that is that you can have a lot of energy and drive and motivation to really study new topics. Can also be about your educational pursuit. With Mercury going retrograde from the 9th to the 8th, there can definitely be an emphasis to dive into old things, old subjects that you were very interested about in the past, and subjects or educational pursuits from the past can definitely be brought back up to find some sort of conclusion. So good luck, my dear Aries. We have Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have, of course, a full moon in your sign on November the 5th. whenever we have a full moon in your sign, that is like when emotions can run really, really high. It's going to spotlight your identity, your body, the way you're behaving. Can also be about like a personal redirection. And of course, Venus is ruling this lunation. It's about your needs, your boundaries. It's also about self-care and your values. So there can be a big culmination around how you look, around your health, around a goal in regards to your look and your health as well. Can also be a milestone in visibility, or there can be a new approach to saying, this is how I am now. So think back to 6 months ago when there was a Taurus new moon, when you've planted the seeds, now they begin to ripen. Of course, Uranus is going to dip back into the sign of Taurus as well this month, so that can definitely have a deeper layer. Expect a lot of surprising pivots in your life. There can be awakenings. There can be a very, very bold change in how you present yourself to the world. So this is really liberation through authenticity. And Venus is going to spend most of November in Scorpio, which is in your 7th house. So the full moon is actually being tied to like a self-definition through your relationships with other people. So really honor your word, and also celebrate your progress that you've made, my dear Taurus, but watch a little bit for a stubborn attachment to like the old roles that you've played, or like old aesthetics. And really, say to yourself, my values lead my choices, and dig a little bit deeper to them. And also regulate your nervous system with Uranus dipping back into your sign. That can be a bit of unnerving, to say the least. So yeah, be ready for the last final surprise of Uranus dipping back into your sign. So then we have a Mercury retrograde that is going to happen from the 8th back into the 7th. So it starts off about shared resources, intimacy, depth, and your power. And it's also about your psychological domain. That is what the 8th house resembles. It's also about secrets. So I forgot to mention that for Aries, but Aries and Taurus, you are actually the ones who can bump into people from the past, who can actually really spill the tea on some of the things back from the past that you actually really need to know right now. So don't be surprised if someone shares some secrets with you. That can definitely happen with the Mercury retro in the 8th. And also then it's going to dip back into your 7th house on November the 18th, and then it's putting an emphasis on your committed partnerships and also the contracts that you've signed. So yeah, financial entanglements, taxes, loans, debts, shared property, and also these emotional, psychological, and even sexual entwinements that is actually demanding a review right now. Trust issues are going to be coming very big into focus, but this is actually like a purging phase. It is not a collapse. And also pay attention to what's not being said, because you're going to be able to really pierce through and really feel and find out what people's true motives are in regards to you. The 8th is a little bit more deeper than the 7th, so the beginning of the retrograde is going to be more intense than the second half. But Taurus, you are one of the signs that can bump into an ex for sure, because Mercury is going to dip back into the 7th. So yeah, definitely also about reconnecting with past flames as well. So then, of course, your chart ruler, Venus, is going to be in the 7th for most of the month. So definitely can be about a lover from the past coming back into your life. And here we can see that more clearly with the new moon in Scorpio. That is going to happen on November the 19th. And that is really more about new, fresh seeds that are being planted in the relationship department. So because it's conjunct Mercury retrograde and it's hosted by Venus as well, your 7th house, all the new people that are going to come in, you need to like review them very honestly, redefine what commitment means to you. You can maybe like update your relationship rules. You can also being put in a place to repair your trust issues, and you can also close out an old chapter with an ex, or even reignite that if you want to and if that seems appropriate. So of course with Uranus opposing that from the sign of Taurus, yeah, that is like some of you are gonna need some new kind of freedom, and there's gonna be a new authentic self-expression, and that can trigger your partner for sure during this time. And Venus in Scorpio asks for a lot of depth and loyalty and emotional truth. And your Taurus sun or rising sign needs a lot of stability and respect for the pace of the relationship. So be a bit mindful if you feel this very big obsession towards someone new. With the Mercury retrograde, I would be a little bit careful about diving head over heels, like first in a new relationship without really thinking things through. You might regret that when the Mercury retrograde is over. So yeah, take your time. Do not overcommit during this time. And also, there's big emphasis on very profound transformational intimacy that can really happen. So, but that doesn't need to go fast. But as a Taurus, you know that. So if it's real, it's gonna deepen. If it's done, you need to like release it with a lot of grace during this time. We see Mars going into the 8th. Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio. So during this new moon, with the new moon in the 7th and Mars in the 8th, there can definitely be some new type of attraction, in which you can found a very, very deep and immensely overwhelming, intense attraction for someone else. With Mars in the 8th, you can have definitely a very deep physical moment with one another that can really also deepen and strengthen the bond. But be very careful with new people entering in, and if your ex is too clingy, also be a bit mindful about that. Maybe that's not the energy that you want to invite during this time. Apart from that, there's beautiful water trine between your 7th, your 11th, and your 3rd. So that is very social. I think you're one of the most socially you're one of the signs where the social sphere is really going to dominate during the month of November. So good luck, my dear Taurus. We have Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have a full moon in Taurus on November the 5th, and it's going to illuminate your 12th house. And that is, of course, about rest, about release, retreat, and also about the subconscious. And in the 12th, it's also about sleeping patterns. It's also about self-sabotaging behavior. And moon in the 12th is also about, it's always about closure and healing and solitude. It's ruled by Venus, so the medicine here, it is very gentle. You need more sleep, you need more nature, music, and you need to calm down your sensory overload. You can expect a lot of intuitive downloads, a lot of vivid dreams, and there can be a lot of culminations happening behind the scenes. With Uranus dipping back into Taurus as well, there's going to be a lot of surprising awakenings, a lot of shakeups in your schedule as well happening. And Uranus, of course, is moving out of your sign back into the 12th as well. So, you need to be very, very friendly to your nervous system during this time. And there can be a lot of disruptions in your sleeping cycle for the next few months, actually, with Uranus back into your 12th house. Then your chart ruler, Mercury, Mercury is going to go retrograde, and it starts from the 7th back to the 6th. So, yeah. The 7th is about partnerships, contracts, and also like one-on-one relationships. And then it's going to move back into your 6th. And then it's about health, work, and routines. So the initial focus of the Mercury retrograde is on agreements and marriage, your partner, your clients, your business associates, your collaborators. There can be old flames popping back up because it's in the 7th house. happening, or there can also be old business ties resurfacing. They can actually give you a clue about how to really advance in your career. Maybe someone from the past is offering you a new type of contract. That is possible. But yeah, just know that this is a reviewing period. There can also be like unexpected or like unfinished conversations that are going to reappear in the love department. So Gemini, you are also one of the signs that can definitely bump into an ex-flame during this time. And it's also about definitely from November the 18th, when it dips back into your sixth house. The tone is going to shift more inwards and it's going to focus on your daily routines and also on your health. Be a little bit careful when you have a Mercury retrograde, and Mercury is your chart ruler. Like, you have a full moon in the 12th. The 12th is about retreating, isolating, and puts an emphasis on mental health. Then you have your chart ruler, Mercury, dipping back into Scorpio on November the 18th, and a Mercury retrograde in the sign of Scorpio, in your sixth house, really puts a big spotlight on your health. So the 12th and the 6th house axis, they need to be balanced out. You really need to retreat a little bit and take some extra time, because you're going to be so busy and you have been working your ass off with Mars going through that 6th house. And Mars in the 6th can definitely be like overworking, a little bit of a burnout, or like overextending yourself can lead to some kind of physical ailment. Another emphasis with Mercury retrograde back into the 6th, you might need to review your daily life and your structures in order not to like completely burn out. Some of you are going to need to make some kind of health appointment as well. Luckily, Venus is going to join the 6th house soon. So that is like softening a lot of the energy. That is like more of a protective energy as well. And if you then look at the new moon that is going to happen in the sign of Scorpio on November the 19th, that is actually happening pretty closely to your descendant. But again, it's still in the 6th. So again, a very big emphasis on your health, on your daily routines, and also on your colleagues. Your pets also belong to the 6th house. So maybe something intense can happen in regards to your pets. Maybe female co-workers can help you out when you need to maybe make an appointment with the doctor. They can help you with your workload. So don't be afraid to ask help when things feel too overwhelming during this time. The Scorpio new moon is actually really asking you to take a deeper look at your daily routines, and because it's exactly conjunct Mercury retrograde, the new really begins by reworking what already exists right now. So yeah, take very deep notice. Look closely to your nutrition, to your sleep, to your movement, to how you tackle your tasks, how your team dynamics are actually affecting your health during this time. Mercury is your ruler, very personal and potent time. If you want to maybe change something up in your schedule or edit your calendar, or maybe refine your boundaries in your work environment, really build on sustainable routines. If something feels too intense or too all or nothing in that department, really divide it or like sculpt it up into these small doable habit tasks, and do not feel overwhelmed by the busyness of life right now. Mars conjunct Mercury is a very busy time, so take some, do not overdo it, and take some time to have some self-love. Your well-being is actually if there's an issue with your well-being, that is going to be found in your workflow right now. So really align your systems with your values, and your energy and your mindset will follow naturally. So good luck, my dear Gemini. We have Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have a full moon in Taurus happening into your 11th house on November the 5th. So that is going to land in a very big social sphere of you. And the 11th, we can find our friends, our networks, and also our aspirations and hopes and dreams. The moon is luckily exalted in Taurus. So yeah, It's going to amplify a lot of wins, and there can be visibility within your community. They can also support you. There can also be a lot of culminations. So maybe you decide to end the friendship, because with Uranus dipping back into the 11th as well, there can definitely be some shakeups in the friend group department. Maybe some new, eccentric, electrifying friend enters your life. That is also a possibility during this time. If you want to post something on social media, you have the possibility to go viral during this time as well, or it will be more spoken about or shared or something like that. You can really win the public eye here. Or win approval from the public eye here with the full moon in the 11th. And yeah, Uranus is gonna shake the same zone. So really make some room and anticipate for these surprising invites that can come, or a lot of pivots within group engagements, and some last minute plans that can open a lot of doors that you didn't see coming. So really keep your calendar very flexible. And yeah, also name a concrete next goal. And yeah, that can really be very, very potent during this time. Then we're going to have a Mercury retrograde. It's going to go from the 6th to the 5th for you guys and girls. So it's putting a lot of emphasis on your work, on your health, and then later in the middle of the month on your joy. So starting in the 6th, on November the 9th, Mercury puts a spotlight on your daily routines. So on your job, on your colleagues, on your health rhythms, and also the way how you serve other people. The 6th house is the house of stress. So really, retrogrades here can bring a lot of chaos whenever you're scheduling things. You can miss some details, or there can be sudden shifts with your work or with your wellness. Maybe you need to go to the doctor, and maybe you need to take some time off of work. Maybe you need to relook at how stress is actually implicating your daily routine, and maybe you need to make some adjustments in that as well. And by November the 18th, Mercury is going to move back into your 5th, and then it's more about creativity and pleasure and dating and children and romance. So that is actually where the emotional layer is going to kick in. Old passions and projects from the past can resurface. It's about your creative tendencies as well. A former flame can also, you can also bump into an ex during this time, because Mercury is in the 5th. If you have a situationship going on, you might get a lot of clarity after the retrograde, and some of you are going to need to end that situationship. And you're going to, really be ready to communicate about that. If you have children, if you're a parent, then it's going to highlight a lot of communication breakdowns with children, and maybe you're going to need to adjust their schedules to fit their needs, or vice versa, and then something might need to shift in that. Then on November the 19th, we have a new moon in Scorpio, and that's going to happen in your 5th. So that is actually a very positive energy. Even though it's in Scorpio on a way more intenser sign than yours, it's a fellow water sign. It makes it trine towards your sun, moon, or rising, and the 5th is the house of fun and joy. By then, Venus is also already been traveling in that sign for quite a while, so you will feel the good energy coming in before the new moon happens. But the new moon is actually exactly conjunct Mercury retrograde. So, and of course, you're a Cancer, you're being ruled by the moon. So this is a very big heart-centered recalibration for you. Restart an old passion project, redefine your dynamics within dating. You can also recommit to old joyful practices from the past that can actually help you regulate your emotions. And with Mercury retrograde here, all the new that begins right now can happen through editing or revisiting, and especially around desire and trust and your creative ownership, or you let your creative juices flow during this time. That can be very, very potent for you. Of course, with the opposition to Uranus in your 11th house, the way how you express yourself might trigger some people in your friend group, and they can react a little bit surprising or shockingly towards you. Don't let them don't let them don't let them like, yeah, your flame needs to like, it needs to keep burning. Don't let them like dissolve that, your creative spark. If people act a little bit weird, especially if you're in a group environment, that's like their problem. Uranus is going to show you where some people are not agreeing with your brilliantness in how you express yourself, and that is totally fine. So of course, Venus in the fifth is also very, very positive for bumping into someone new, feeling this new kind of love attraction. But with Mercury retrograde happening here in the fifth as well, be a little bit mindful about overcommitting too fast. And if you have been trying pregnant for the last couple of months, this might be the moon. This might be the month where you find out that you're pregnant, because the fifth house is the house of children, with Venus and Black Moon Lilith and a Mercury retrograde and Mars that has just been going through the fifth house. If you've been trying to get pregnant with Mars in the fifth lately, there's probably a lot of energy that got projected into that, and this might be the time when you have the exciting news. Finding out that you're pregnant is definitely a possibility during this time. So apart from that, Saturn is going to go direct in your ninth house. So if you want to travel, you can find, you can make a stable long-term plan for making a journey abroad. The Saturn has also been like crystallizing and stabilizing your spiritual beliefs as well. So this is like a whole new reset in your mind, in your belief system. Of course, Jupiter is going to go retrograde in your sign this month. So definitely take some time to step back and to really reassess the last few months. A lot of Cancers have been saying that they've not been really feeling the beautiful energy of Jupiter in their sign. Just trust me, after the retrograde period is going to be over, Jupiter is going to be giving you way more blessings. And I think the blessings are going to start to come in now more fully, because Jupiter is trining Saturn. So even if you make a long distance journey abroad, and really going to spiritual retreats, or just like connecting with water while you're traveling, that can like really help you to soothe your emotions and can actually be quite blissful and help you to find more freedom. There's a big emphasis on freedom this month. So it's in the 1st, the 5th, and the 9th. Very creative time for you, my dear Cancer. So let the creative juices flow. So good luck. We have Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have a full moon in Taurus happening in the 10th house. So the 10th, it is about your career. It's about your boss. Can be about one of your parents. Can be about people in authority, like the government as well. If you've been having something from them, then there can be like some culmination happening in that. So yeah, it's about recognition and visibility. It's all tied to the intentions that you've actually been setting since the Taurus New Moon 6 months ago. If you've launched something new during this time, now you can see like a very big release or like a big recognition happening in that. So there can be big announcements, there can be launches, there can be also be promotions, a big milestone in your own business if you're self-employed. And this is of course ruled by Venus. So yeah, Venus is of course now in Libra, but about to pass over into the 4th house. So the recognition that you are receiving in your career, you can by that spend more money inside of your home or with your family. It can feel a little bit paradoxical, because you're gonna probably get some kind of recognition, but all you want this month is spend some quality time like under a blanket, cocooning with people that you live with together inside of your home, or spend some more time with family. You can also have some good news in regards to your mom. The 10th is one of the parents, and Venus that is about to entering the 4th can be a very, very blissful time with your mother or with female relatives as well. Then of course also the sun is of course in Scorpio, also in the 4th house. So yeah, a very, very big emphasis on work and home axis. So it's actually about your domestic needs, versus your public demands. And Uranus is also going to dip back into Taurus, and that's really going to add some kind of wild cards. There can be a very big sudden career pivot happening. There can be shifts in how you use technology in regards to your work as well. There can also be leadership changes, like within your boss, happening at work as well. So yes, stabilize the home bases so that you can actually say yes to claim your right to be in the spotlight this month. Then we're going to have a Mercury retrograde. And for you, my dear Leo, that's going to happen from the 5th to the 4th. So the 5th is, of course, about romance, creativity, joy, and it's going to go back in the 4th, which is about home, roots, and family. So this is a very classic heart-home story arc that is about to unfold for you. The retrograde starts on November the 9th, about romantic situations, about creative projects from the past that might be reignited, and it can also be about matters involving children. It can feel a little bit foggy during this time, but Mercury here can really definitely reopen old love stories. It can stir up a lot of nostalgia when it dips back into the 4th. It can also expose some kind of creative burnout in which you need to reassess something during this time. So Mercury dips back into the 4th on November the 18th, and that is going to shift the focus more to your emotional foundation. So home and family themes are definitely going to dominate the entire month of November until the middle of December, actually. If you've been planning to move, that might actually change, or something might need to be reviewed. If you've been talking about a lease for a house, that might get delayed a little bit. And old conversations in regard to family, if you've been having some issues, that can actually be beautifully resolved with Venus in the 4th as well. Other Leos are just going to redefine what home really means to you, literally and also psychologically. But Mercury retro here, it actually invites a repair rather than an impulsive change. So if you're moving during this time, something might need to be changed in that, so don't be too impulsive on that. Of course, the sun is your chart ruler, and it's also in the 4th house, so the entire time the 4th and 5th house are the most important houses for you this month, because on November the 19th, we're going to have a new moon in the sign of Scorpio, and that is happening at the late end of your 4th house, almost conjunct your 5th house. So it's going to have an emphasis on both, depending on where your rising sign falls exactly. So if you're a Placidus user, really look at where this moon falls to listen to the correct interpretation. So new moon, conjunct Mercury retrograde. It's going to plant a lot of new deep roots in the 4th. A lot of important talks with family. Really best time to review your emotional foundation. Because you are ruled by the sun, it is like a core identity reset here in the 4th. It is about how you nest, how you rest, how you belong, where your roots are. And that actually determines how brightly that you can perform in the 5th whenever Mercury switches back direct and it gets back into the 5th house, where that is actually I was going to say authentic house of Leo. The Mercury retrograde. Oh my God. So the 5th is, of course, your house, Leo, your traditional house. Thank you. Your traditional Leo house. So, and also with the Uranian tensions around this window, that can deliver like a lot of unexpected, Uranus is opposing your 5th house cusp. So it's going to have a lot of shocking surprises in regards to moving, in regards to family as well, in regards to also how your job affects your home situation and vice versa. These are angular houses. These are pretty important and have a lot of influence in your life whenever things happen there. So there can be, changing career, a change with your boss. Maybe you're going to get a new boss or a new director. That can all happen during this time. And also, whenever Mercury goes back into the 5th house, really look at old passion projects from the past that really made your heart sing, because with Mars in your 5th house, trining your sun, moon, or rising sign, it's maybe best to withdraw a little bit from the noise. And if there's too much drama in your family, concentrate on what you're good in, and that is mostly music or some kind of creative thing that you can make with your hands. Go into some kind of flow state, withdrawal from the noise. Also know with Jupiter going retrograde in your 12th house that there's again a big emphasis on working behind the scenes on something creative inside of the home. That can like be a really, really big pivot during this month. So just do what you love best and enjoy whatever creative juices that come flow out of you. And if you've been really, really passionate about something from when you are young, for example, that can be a very, very beautiful thing to re-implement during this time. So good luck, my dear Leo. We have Virgo, sun, moon, or rising. You're going to have a full moon in Taurus happening on November the 5th. So that is going to happen in your 9th house. So big emphasis on traveling, education, publishing, also your belief system and legal matters. So in the 9th, you can like really make it long distance trip. You can release a book. You can publish something that gains a lot of traction. So if you've been like in social media or doing something else in which you are like doing media or podcasting or anything like that, this can be a very quite busy month for you, because your chart ruler Mercury has been on top of Mars for quite some time. So yeah, a lot of business, a lot of tasks that you need to tackle. A moon in the 9th, having to be on having to make some big announcement, with Jupiter going retrograde in the 11th, connected to big groups or to social media or to community or platforms or any type of way. And think back to the new moon plants and new moon seeds that you've planted in Taurus 6 months ago. Now they can start to bear fruit. That can be a course that you've started that you now complete, maybe a trip that finalizes, maybe a manuscript or a launch goes live, or maybe your worldview now starts to click into place. This is a Venus-ruled lunation. So yeah, Venus, of course, is in the 2nd, about to dip in the 3rd. So whatever you launch now or whatever big project that you complete during this time, you can gain a lot of money by that. And whenever Venus jumps into the 3rd, you can have a lot of heartfelt conversations around what you're sharing with groups of people, or what you're sharing that is very, very visible right now for other people to see. Now, with Uranus also dipping back into Taurus, also within your 9th house, there can be some last-minute changes to where you're traveling. So you might need to change your route very unexpectedly. Maybe you need to set some dates differently. Don't forget anything while you're traveling. Like think about your visa, your passport, or your ticket or something like that, because Uranus can really create some upheaval in the travel department. Then also your chart ruler Virgo is going to go retrograde from the 4th to the 3rd house. It's at the bottom of the chart. So first you have like a moon at the top of the chart, which is very visible, but then your chart ruler goes retrograde at the bottom of your chart, and that is always more sensitive. The EC is one of the most sensitive points in the zodiac wheel. And the 4th, it is about our home, our family, our mother. It's your emotional base. And then on November the 19th, it's going to return to the 3rd house, or November the 18th if you live in the US, depends on your location. So the story really opens with like re-evaluating your foundation, where you live, who you live with, how you feel rooted within your basis of your home environment. And if you are moving, that is not the best time, to be honest. Mercury here can really slow down plans in regards to moving. It can also reveal a lot of family conversations that were never fully resolved. And with that can also bring a lot of old emotional stories back into the present in order for you to rewrite them, or maybe completely let them go in regards to family. Once Mercury is going to re-enter your third house, so this is really special, guys. Virgo rising, Mercury is the chart ruler, Mercury retrograde in the third house. You guys, Virgos, my fellow Virgos, like, let me know how you guys are doing. I had to fix my car. I had to buy a new phone. I become ill. I was like, oh my God, this Mercury retro is a very, very strong one. And of course, it's in the house it belongs to. So yeah, it's about mental clarity. It's about miscommunications, can be about travel delays, tech issues, or some contracts that you've signed that need to be revised in some kind of way. But they're actually revealing where your systems aren't airtight. And a retrograde in the third house, it's going to highlight how you think, how you speak. It's also a big chance to really upgrade your communication patterns or your technology and how you communicate. So from how you actually explain yourself to how you listen. Then on November the 19th, you're going to have a new moon in the sign of Scorpio, exactly conjunct your EC, but still in the third house. It's about mindset, messaging, logistics, emails, local traveling, like short distance trips. It's also about paperwork. So yeah, you can like totally rewrite your pitch. You can also like rebuild your templates, rework your website, which I definitely need to do very, very fast. Actually, I've been like postponing that forever, but I really need to work on my website. You can also renegotiate some kind of term. You can think about how you're blogging or podcasting. And Scorpio's depth is actually going to help you to cut through the noise and to speak with a lot of power. Mercury is your ruler, so these intentions that you're going to be setting during this retrograde are really going to totally reprogram your daily thinking and your daily speaking. And expect a bit of Uranian turbulence around this time as well. Best to aim for simple and durable systems. A clearer calendar, work on automations, work on a checklist for when you move or when you travel during those days, and also have like a backup plan. When you like encounter communications and technology, and really do some micro habits. That is really going to beat a lot of grand gestures right now. Do like a 15-minute inbox reading your mails, like that. Do daily short walks to help you with clarity in your mind, because you can feel a little bit confused by this energy. And also just know that when all your systems are clean and renewed and in order, your voice is going to be unstoppable. So make good use of this very, very rare and important energy, because Mercury retrograde with Mars opposing Uranus several times, all the systems that you reset right now, all the programs that you use, all the technology that you use, when you reassess something in that can have a major, big and good implication on how you share things, because it opposes Uranus right on the MC. And Uranus is going to dip back into the 10th soon, so restructure everything before the end of April. And by then, all the seeds that you plant right now can have like a very positive effect on your work and your career and how other people see you. So yeah, time to get to work. But you guys, as Virgos, really love to do that. So don't be too critical on yourself. Don't be too tough on yourself. If the energy of the Mercury retro is becoming too intense in the third house, take a step back. Let your mind rest. Because with the opposition to Uranus, there can be too much ideas, too much things to do. And I'm like talking from my personal perspective, but I feel sometimes when I have too much to do, I like totally block out and I do not do anything. That is why it's helpful to make some kind of a list in which you can check off everything, because I love to do that, like a checklist. Oh my God, like I'm totally here for that as a Virgo rising. And it can feel very, very, how do you say it? It can feel very nuttig, like helpful, or you can feel useful whenever checking all the boxes, and that is going to give you some peace of mind, which you definitely going to need during this time. So good luck, my dear fellow Virgo risings, and let me know how you guys are doing with this energy. We have Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have a full moon on November the 5th in Taurus, and that falls in your 8th house. So that is about shared resources, intimacy, depth. It's also about power dynamics and transformation, and especially psychological transformation. And Taurus is really a stabilizing sign. It's going to light up the whole 8th house sector of your chart. It's going to bring a lot of intense emotional and also especially financial revelations. And think back to when you've planted some seeds during the new moon in Taurus 6 months ago. Now something is really reaching some kind of culmination point. So you might be finalizing, or like a loan might be finalized or paid off, and investments can really yield a lot of results during this time, or some kind of joint financial arrangement can also shift significantly during this time. So take good notice if someone gives you some kind of a tip for investments, and that can come quite suddenly because Uranus is going to be active here as well this month. It's going to dip back into the sign of Taurus as well on November the 7th. So there can be some sudden or surprising development. That can also happen in like some kind of a bill that you didn't expect. So a major purchase, a major bill, maybe a payout that arrives early, something in regards to taxes or inheritance can be happening as well, or some kind of change in someone else's financial situation that actually affects you on a deeper level, because this is actually the 8th house traditionally of Scorpio. This lunation is going to highlight also trust and control issues and vulnerability. It is the house where you merge with others, and that can be financially, sexually, emotionally, but also energetically. And it is actually the house where you need to reclaim your own power. So a very potent time to clear a lot of debts, renegotiate your shared responsibilities in regards to finances, and also release some fears about scarcity. A scarcity mindset can definitely be a very big theme this month. Now, you are, of course, ruled by Venus, and Venus during this time will be in your sign. So Venus rules Libra, but also Taurus. So a very, very big emphasis and a very big, important, potent time for you, my dear Libra. Venus, however, is going to shift pretty quickly into the sign of Scorpio, which is your 2nd house. So again, that's why I'm mentioning, if someone gives you a tip on investments with Venus also in the 2nd house, there can be a very big emphasis on earning money, on residual income, on finding a new stream of income as well. There can also be a time where you want to splurge a little bit with money, so be a bit careful about that. And also we're going to have a Mercury retrograde, and for you, my dear Libra, that's going to happen from the 3rd back into the 2nd. So Mercury traditionally belongs to the 3rd house. So you are also one of the signs that is very, very big implicated by the Mercury retrograde. The 3rd is about communication, your contracts, your local travel, so short distance travel or road trips. And it's also about your siblings. And it's going to move back into your 2nd house of money and values and security. And that is going to happen on November the 18th. So the first part of this retro is about how you gonna rework your communication system. So really double check your emails, your phone calls, your messages, your travel plans, your legal documents, and old conversations can be pop up to be reassessed and released. Be mindful about misunderstandings with your neighbors, with your coworkers, with your siblings. All of that can now also resurface, not to cause any chaos, but actually to make you more precise and intentional in how you speak and actually what you're saying and what they are saying to you as well. It works vice versa always. So rewrite, revisit, refine, and do not launch any big brand new ideas. That's not the perfect time to do that right now. And on November the 18th, when Mercury dips back into the second, the retro becomes more tangible. Then it's about the material realm. Your finances, what you possess, are all under review. So there can be some unexpected expenses. If you make a large investment, or if you like buy something new, whenever you make a big purchase, really keep the receipts. I feel like you might need that, and also the warranty on that as well. So really keep them backed up as well. Backing up your emails, your phones, your photos, your data is also very important for you, my dear Libra. When it dips back into the second, you can also feel like your sense of security is being a little bit tested. But retrogrades, they always bring something back. So you might also get a refund if you've been waiting on that. That can finally come true. You can also find a lot of you can find something that you feel that is vulnerable, that you thought that you've lost, can also come back, pop up out of the blue. And the bigger team is really here learning to speak and to plan from actually a place of clarity and not from panic or impulse. Don't rush into signing any contracts. And also, sharpen your communication and be mindful about misunderstandings that can definitely happen during this time. But your ruler is in the second house for most of the time here this month, so enjoy a good meal. Maybe you can really buy something for yourself that you've been wanting to do for a very long time. Just keep the receipts and then you'll be fine. Mars is also in your third house the entire month in Sagittarius, so there can definitely be some feisty, heated communications taking place for you. Be mindful with your words, sharpen your knives, but don't use them during this time, because if you're going to ruffle the wrong feathers, you can really end up in a lot of heated debates and even fights. So be a bit careful about that. Jupiter is going to go retrograde in your 10th house, so really reflect on your career during this time. What changes have you made over the past few months? Maybe you can rearrange something in that as well. If you're self-employed, you can restructure your business. That can be very beneficial whenever Jupiter is going to go back direct. Saturn is also going to go back direct in your 6th house. If you've been dealing with some chronic issues, you can find more stability in that. Maybe you can find a cure or some treatment that can help you stabilize some more because of the trine to Jupiter in the 10th. If you've been you can definitely turn it up a notch in the career area as well. Saturn in the 6th is about hard work, and I know a lot of Libras have been working their ass off, especially with the trine to Jupiter in the 10th. If you've been self-employed, there's a massive increase in your clients and in your audience and in the whole business in general. So there can be good luck being found in that. You can feel like you are getting more productive to get things done in the career area. And the beautiful trine, the beautiful water trine between everything in the 2nd and the 6th and the 10th can definitely lead to an uptick in the career area that is going to be very beneficial for the time to come. So then on November the 19th, we're going to have a new moon in the sign of Scorpio. And for you, the new moon is going to arrive again in the 2nd house. That's why I'm saying for Libras, a very big financial month, November here. So with the moon in the 2nd house, it's again about your values and your material security. But Scorpio is very deep. It is very strategic and very transformative. So it's not a superficial financial reset. It's really about reclaiming your power over your own income and resources. So some of you are going to set some kind of new saving goals, restructure your income streams, redefine what security means to you on a very deep soul level. And it can definitely, because this new moon is conjunct Mercury retrograde, the intentions that you actually set right now, they can be tied to something old or something, or some plan or some stream of income from the past that returns back into your life or is being reworked right now. You can look back at the past job, a past project or investment, and even a past mindset about money, but be intentional, because Scorpio really asks you to cut away all the attachments that no longer support your growth in the financial area of your life. Financial opportunities can also emerge out of the blue with Uranus retrograde opposing that as well. But just know that your power lies in how you clearly reclaim your own worth, and your whole business or career can be restructured due to like changing of your value system as well. So yeah, go get some work done, and you're gonna reap the rewards whenever Jupiter is gonna enter Leo next year. So very important time if you want to make a breakthrough in the career area by communicating something different than you're used to, by updating your technological devices, maybe buying a new car. On your business, maybe you're gonna buy some new phone. That can also happen. Be a bit mindful on the road with Mercury conjunct Mars for the entire month of November. Some of you can get a little bit frustrated because you feel like you need to get a lot of things done, and Saturn going back direct is like releasing its big block on your productivity, so you might want to get more things done. But with Mercury and Mars together on the 3rd, whenever you're on the road or moving, you might find that you're getting a little bit easier frustrated because things don't go fast enough, because you have like a whole lot of load of work to do. So keep that in mind. Don't road rage, and just take some extra time whenever you need to make a drive. Calculate in some delays, because that might happen during this time. So good luck, my dear Libra. We have Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have a full moon in Taurus in your opposite sign on November the 5th, and that is going to happen in your 7th house. Wow, that was a mouthful. So the 7th is about relationships, commitments, and your significant others, marriage, your love relationship, of course. And the lunations in the opposite sign are always very deeply personal for you. They mark a big turning point in your partnerships, whether that's business, romantic, or even close one-on-one alliances. So think back to the Taurus new moon earlier this year, 6 months ago. If you seeded new plans in that department, something is culminating in that right now. So you can reach a new level of commitment. You might be facing some kind of crossroad in your relationship. You might also be having this long-awaited conversation with your partner that is going to bring a lot of emotional truth to the surface. So Uranus also is going to dip back into Taurus this month. So it's also going to activate your 7th house. So it may bring a lot of sudden developments. There can even actually be unexpected proposals or breakups or new alliances or some kind of shift in the power dynamics between you and another person that's very close to your heart. So keep that in mind. So look honestly at what's being mirrored back to you right now. Maybe it tells something about yourself, and maybe something you need to shift, because the sun is, of course, in your sign. So the spotlight is on you. It's Scorpio season. So are your needs being met? How do you show up in your partnerships? Depending on which aspects this makes to your personal planets, it can bring a lot of joy or a lot of turbulence. But it's definitely going to clarify your relational landscape. And yeah, something might happen in the life of your partner that even is going to propel you forward as well. Then we're also going to have a Mercury retrograde from November the 9th to the 29th as well. So yeah, that's going to happen for you from the 2nd house of money and resources and possessions back into your sign. So Scorpios, very, very big, important, very rare, unusual Mercury retrograde that is about to pop off here, because it's conjunct Mars. It is going to be opposing Uranus several times, and it's going to dip back in your sign. So this is a very, very big and important month for you, my dear Scorpio. So It's gonna draw your attention from November the 9th on your finances, on your values, on your self-worth. Rethink how you handle your resources. Think about how you earn them, how you spend them, and also what you value most, and if that's all imbalanced, because I don't think so. You might need to reassess or reevaluate something in that. Be mindful about unexpected expenses or some payments that are getting delayed in some kind of way that might happen. You might also feel that you're more reactive around the theme of money. So pause before making these big impulsive financial choices, because it starts in Sag in your second. So audit your budget, review your contracts, and also, yeah, you need to now reclaim your power over your own spending behavior. And if some things have been financially unstable, then the retrograde is going to make it very, very visible to you, my dear Scorpio. So on November the 18th, Mercury is going to dip back into your sign, and then it becomes very deeply personal. Re-examine your voice, your identity, how you present yourself to the world, just how you carry yourself and how you express yourself as well. Your perspective might actually shift in how you think, how you advocate for yourself as well. All these things are actually under review. And also rewrite your personal narrative, or realize where you've held back your truth. Be careful of getting out the stinger, because if you're gonna ruffle the wrong feathers right now, you can end up in a lot of fights. Definitely, because Mercury retrograde is gonna conjunct Mars several times. We've already see it happening on the 20th of October. The themes that popped up around the 20th of October, you can be pretty sure that it's gonna be a very big theme throughout the next few weeks. So can be a little bit uncomfortable, not gonna lie, but it can, if you tune into it in the correct way, it can be very profoundly empowering, but only if you allow it to transform how you express who you are. So stop expressing yourself how you want to be viewed by other people, and start expressing yourself just the way you are. You are perfect, and then you are good enough the way you are. And that is going to be a moment of piercing clarity around the end of November more. Also, of course, very, very important for you, we're going to have a new moon on November the 19th, and that is happening in your sign, my dear Scorpios. So, this is actually your personal new year. The first house is identity, can also be health, can also be self-direction. It's also the avatar that you play here in this world. So a very rare chance to plant seeds for new personal reinvention. And whenever we have a full or a new moon within our own sign, that is when emotions tend to run very, very high. So can be a moment of empowerment, but only if you look back on how you present yourself, how you move through the world, how you take the lead in your own story. The new moon is exactly conjunct Mercury retrograde. So yeah, these two are so especially intertwined with each other, and the intentions that you set now are going to be tied to a past version of yourself, and you're actually preparing yourself to integrate a new version and to release the old one. So some of my dear Scorpios are going to want to revamp your image, but don't go too crazy on it during the Mercury retrograde. It might be better to wait until that's over, because some of you are going to be impulsively cutting their hair, presenting a new version, only to regret that later. So don't act too impulsively in regards to your image or how you look. So this lunation is a big invitation for a profound emotional renewal, and Scorpio energy, it doesn't do surface level change. So it transforms from the inside out. Just trust the process and also give it time to unfold over the next 6 months. But definitely a very, very big financial emphasis here for you right now as well. And with Mars traveling through the second, you can direct a lot of energy, because Mars is, of course, your ancient ruler. You can direct a lot of energy into new streams of income, but just be a little bit mindful that you're not too risky and not spending too much impulsively on big purchases, because you might regret that later with the Mercury retrograde here happening as well. And with Uranus, with everything opposing Uranus in the 7th, there can also be some kind of conflicts or some heated debates in regards how one or both of you in your partnerships, who earns what, who spends what. Some of you Scorpios are going to be fed up and are not going to want to take any bullshit anymore from their partners. So if they are behaving too eccentric or too, if they are pushing your buttons too much, some Scorpios can be really fed up during this time, and that can also lead towards a whole new rebranding of your identity. So keep that in mind. There can also be some shocks happening in the life of your partner that are going to implicate you financially, and I hope that's going to be in the positive way. I really hope so. We see a very beautiful water trine between your house, the 1st, the 5th, and the 9th. So it's about like a whole new identity, about a whole new expression, to a whole new self-expression, and that is gonna form some new belief system, because Jupiter is also going to turn retrograde this month in your 9th house. So how you look at the world, how you tune in with everyone's worldview, that can also totally change, and like your intuitive hunches are gonna be very, very strongly this month. So really trust them. This is like a unique opportunity. If you're a parent and if you have been struggling a little bit with your kids, there can be some miscommunication from the past popping back up again, but it's going to have a beautiful release, and you might actually clear out some issues with them as well. Good luck, my dear Scorpio. We have Sagittarius Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have a full moon in Taurus happening on November the 5th in your 6th house. So the 6th house, this is about health, daily routines, work, and your service towards others. It is also the house of stress and misfortune. So it's going to shine a big light on all the systems that keep your life moving, and if those systems are actually beneficial or causing some kind of havoc on your physical health. So this one here can bring also culminations at work, a lot of changes to your schedule. There can also be some big realization about your mental and physical health by all the changes in your schedule. So some kind of job related project might be finalized. You might also get clarity about the kind of daily rhythm that you actually need to support your overall well-being. And that is going to be very, very, it's going to make very obvious to you. So luckily, Taurus is a stabilizing sign, but Uranus is going to shift back into Taurus as well. So that is going to like reactivate the whole area of your chart here again. So a lot of revelations could really come through, sudden adjustments that you need to make out of the blue, very unexpected. There can be a shift in staff within your colleagues, shift within your schedule, and even an unexpected work opportunity that can totally alter your everyday flow of life. Of course, Venus rules Taurus, so the lunation also connects to pleasure and balance, but Venus is making some squares, so there can definitely be some difficulty found in that during this time. But it's also a reminder that you can't run at full speed every day without taking a step back and grounding your energy. So really pay attention to how your body reacts. If you feel tension, fatigue, or restlessness, that can really point to the real areas of your imbalance right now. So it's going to be made very obvious to you. Refine your habits. You can renegotiate your boundaries at work and really commit to healthier patterns that really prioritize both your productivity, but also your rest. They need to be like honored both during this time. So, and if something ends, it's going to clear space for a more sustainable rhythm of your life in the months ahead. So just let it happen. Then we're going to have a Mercury retrograde, my dear Sagittarius, and it starts in your sign. So very important for you, my dear Sagittarius. Your sign, the house of self and identity and personal expression, it's starting on November the 9th, and it's about how you speak, how you move, how you show up, how you make decisions. You might feel that you're more reactive or impulsive, especially with Mars also moving through your sign right now. Your mind may be racing like ahead of your plans, or like too much ideas to put into motion, and that can create some miscommunications or some confusion in your schedule. And even because of all these things might feel a little bit overwhelming as Mercury prepares itself to dip back into the sign of Scorpio. That might wobble your identity a little bit during this time. So not the time to really lock into like these big personal decisions like tattoos or surgeries, or these major overhauls in how you look. This is a time to really revisit and recenter and revise everything surrounding how you are. Also take some notice when you might be overextending or over promising, because Mercury and Mars together, they are very, very busy, and your voice is very powerful now, but it needs to be sharpened and like not, you don't need to shout during this time. People are gonna hear you anyway. So don't be too impulsive. But yeah, this is also a phase where your whole narrative might shift. How you think about yourself, how you talk about yourself to others, all of that is being revisited. So slow down, do not push harder. Also watch a little bit for these heated conversations. Also watch for righteousness as well. Also watch for cutting people off too quickly. All these impulses are really going to reveal where your identity is still evolving during this time. Then when it dips back into Scorpio on November the 18th, then it's happening in the 12th, the house of rest and self-sabotaging behavior and final endings and private matters that are actually happening behind the scenes. And this is really going to turn your attention fully inward. It's less about the external communication whenever it started in the sign of Sag. Now it's more about inner clarity. And I think you Sagittarius are going to be so busy that during November the 18th, when it dips back into the 12th, you're going to feel a little bit overwhelmed, and you might feel like you need to take a step back from all the external noise. It's about inner clarity during this time. It's about dreams, intuition, and also unconscious fears that are going to get a little bit louder. And it's going to give you some insight in what's truly driving you and your actions, and what's motivating you as well. So, clear mental clutter during this time, and prepare yourself whenever Mercury dips back into your sign. Then it's your time to go. We're also having a new moon on November the 19th in the sign of Scorpio, and that's also happening in your 12th house, nearly close to your sign. It's 28 degrees of Scorpio. If you have an early Sag rising, that is going to implicate your body and your health especially. So be a bit mindful. New moons in the 12th. The 12th can also be about confined spaces, can also be about hospitals. If you have an early degree Sag rising, you really need to put a lot of emphasis on your health and take extra care of your body. The 12th is also very spiritual, and it's going to set the tone for a way more quieter, introspective cycle that is going to start. Do not shout new beginnings from the rooftops. Be a bit more subtle. Scorpio here encourages you to face your shadows. So allow what needs to end. Powerful time for spiritual practices as well, therapy or spiritual, like meditation and hypnotherapy as well. Retreat from the external noise. And because the new moon fully aligns with Mercury Retro, this one is so deeply tied for you, my dear Sagittarius. Like, you are the sign that is like deepest tied to reflection, release, and final endings. So prepare yourself and make some time for psychic downloads. Listen to your intuitive nudges, because they're going to guide you towards a whole new path whenever the Mercury retrograde is over. You're not going to do that through any type of action. The only action you can take is like sitting on the sofa and meditating upon it. So not through action, but more like through surrender. Really trust like the quieter currents of the new moon in the 12th. And also know that what you plant here is really going to grow in secret, and it's going to become or blossom like more visibly whenever all the planets enter into your sign, and that's going to happen in December, because on the 21st of November, Sagittarius season is starting. So good luck to my Sagittarius. You have Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have a full moon happening in Taurus on November the 5th, and it falls in your 5th house. So, very positive full moon, my dear Capricorn. The 5th is about creativity, joy, romance, also your children, and the emotional stories around how self-expression happens for you naturally. So if you've started something in a creative matter, there can be a culmination in a creative project. There might also be a romantic turning point happening. It can also be meaningful moments in regards to your children, but also in regards to your personal passions. So think back to the Taurus new moon earlier this year. 6 months ago, did you plant a new seed in some kind of love story, or a business that you've been passionate about, or maybe a creative vision that you've implemented? This lunation is really going to bring the culmination like to its peak, whatever you started 6 months ago. So the 5th is of course a very joyful and playful energy. If you've been trying to get pregnant, you might get some news regarding to that. There can also be unexpected pregnancies happening for some Capricorns, because Uranus is about to dip back into the 5th as well. So that can definitely create some surprises in regards to children, but also in regards to new and unexpected romantic attractions. Can be very cool to go on an unexpected date. So make sure you have some time to do that, because that might be very electrifying and very passionate as well. And if you are already in a romantic situation, that could also take a very unexpected turn. You might also get a strike of sudden inspiration that can come in a very unpredictable way. If you are tapping into that energy, and if you receive new downloads or insights in regards to creative projects, really write them down, because Uranus is very fast moving. It can enter as fast as it disappears again. So the ruler of this lunation is, of course, Venus, and it's in your 10th house of career, about to switch over into your 11th. So the 5th house is also, of course, the house of fun, but because Venus is about to move over into the 11th, there might be a lot of gatherings with friends, and a lot of love being shared in your social sphere. So it doesn't need to specifically be only romantic, can definitely also manifest in the friend zone area. Or maybe you fall in love with a friend. That can actually also happen. Or you might notice that a friend suddenly becomes way more lovey-dovey towards you. So enjoy that if you're looking for that. Of course, with Venus in the 10th, it's also the house of career. So yeah, your creative expression or your romantic life might also like intersect a bit with your public image, or within your job. But yes, just stand confidently in your creative light, and then everything will go all right in your life. So Capricorn, we're also having a Mercury retrograde, and for you that's happening from the 12th back into the 11th. So whenever I had a Mercury retrograde in the 12th, that was a little bit confusing. I thought I lost a lot of things, but then I suddenly found them again. They like popped up again in a very unexpected way. So can be a little bit confusing, a little bit elusive. 12th house is a spiritual realm, the things we cannot fully grasp, things we cannot fully explain with our logic mind. So yeah, just keep an open mind and be ready for some surprises within the 12th. It is about subconscious and hidden matters, also about rest and endings. So this is a very deep internal cycle. This is really going to heighten your intuition and your dreams and your sensitivity. And a lot of you are going to feel the need to pull back from constant activity. You might need to seek more solitude, or make some time to really process all the things that you have been buried beneath the surface for the past few months. Miscommunications are very typical for Mercury retro, and these are going to happen behind the scenes. Also, be a bit mindful about gossip. Don't go gossiping yourself, because when it happens from the 12th back into the 11th, if you gossip, that might backfire. But I also feel the 12th is hidden enemies. Hidden enemies might be a little bit more talkative behind your back. But also, yeah, be mindful about missing some kind of message or misaligning your schedule, or like, yeah, miscommunication with people and private settings. Also very common for this phase to revisit old fears and unconscious patterns, and also health habits that actually need a lot of healing. That is like perfect for that. So yeah, it's really about quite intentional reflection. You can journal, you can do therapy, do spiritual practices, and with Mars also moving through this sector, that's actually why I've put a little bit of emphasis on the hidden enemy aspect, or like the hidden enemy side of this aspect, because Mars in the 12th can definitely give or bring up fights with people who do not really love you. I'm just going to put it that way. Can also trigger a lot of repressed anger and suppression of that, of like frustration from the past can also like totally pop up again, and can also surface through dreams, through insomnia, and through a lot of agitation. So that is going to be an opportunity to release and realign that. Then on November the 18th, Mercury is going to dip back into Scorpio, and then it's going to be operating in your social sphere. And then it's more like it's going to shift from inner work to the outer circles and social connections. Old friends, you can bump into them, old collaborations, old communities that you were part of. Something need to be recessed in that, but more on that for the Mercury retrograde video soon. We're also going to have a new moon in the sign of Scorpio on November the 19th, and that is also happening in your 11th house, but actually very closely conjunct to your 12th house cusp. So again, people you align with, people you build your dreams together with, set new intentions around a new type of collaboration. You can take on a bigger leadership role within a community. You can also reconnect with real like-minded people who actually share your deeper values, because Scorpio energy here is very transformative. You're not looking for superficial social interactions, but more for meaningful alliances that help you evolve in your life and within your community as well. So yeah, re-envision the future. The 11th can be very futuristic. If you are self-employed and if you are posting something on social media, that can gain a lot of traction, especially with Saturn going direct in the 3rd as well, trining this lunation, Neptune helping you. There is a very big, beautiful water trine happening between houses 11th, the 3rd, and the 7th. So your partner and your friends are flowing beautifully towards each other. So Jupiter going retrograde in the 7th is actually putting an emphasis on turning your energy inwards and reevaluating your partnership and your marriage. And if you realign that can flow beautifully to like the new moon in the 11th. You can fall in love with a friend. Definitely when Venus is going to trine Jupiter as well, friends can become lovers, lovers can become friends, and it can go without any dramatic feeling in regards to that as well. But definitely with Mars in the 12th, be careful about your dreams and your patterns. Your dreams might become very, very active and very prophetic as well, and can give you a lot of intuitive downloads. And definitely your partner and your friends can really, really help you at home as well. So yeah, take really advantage of this beautiful water trine happening between these houses. So yeah, also because so much is going to go into the 12th soon, release what doesn't serve you over time anymore, because the next 6 months, the seeds that you're going to plant now, they could grow into a very powerful collaboration and a new sense of belonging, but maybe you will need to sacrifice something in regards to that. So I wish you good luck. We have Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have a full moon in Taurus happening on November the 5th, and that's going to happen in your 4th house. So the 4th, it is, of course, about your home, your family, also your emotional foundations, bringing a very big 6-month cycle about your domestic home life to like a culmination or a climax. So can look like a move or a renovation or some kind of change in your living situation. Can also be about an emotional revelations that comforts from your family. But Taurus here, it wants security and steadiness and comfort. And the focus is actually on building and protecting what grounds you. And because Uranus is your modern day ruler, it's going to shift back into the sign of Taurus here in this house. So it's going to reactivate the 4th house for you for the final time. Very, very important for you, my dear Aquarius. There is going to be unexpected developments at home. Last minute relocations. Maybe you get a phone call from your landlord that is going to shift the way you live, or maybe you need to move out. Or maybe you get a phone call from your mother that can be a little bit destabilizing or unexpected or like shocking. And also, yeah, revelations that are just going to like change your plans. And the 4th house is a very sensitive, emotional house with your ruler starting to operate in that again. This is like the final big bang of like a type of eccentric, paradoxal, thinking outside of the box kind of energy that is going to land in the 4th house. So you can definitely feel a little bit out of place. Even you can even feel a little bit alienated from your family as well. Just know that this is supposed to be, and it's supposed to liberate you during this time. We're also having a Mercury retrograde that is starting in Sag for you. That's happening from the 11th back into Scorpio, back into the 10th house. So the 11th is about your social sphere, your friendships, your communities that you belong to, also your hopes and aspirations for the future. So the first phase of Mercury retrograde, it is about revisiting social dynamics and all your collaborations and also your team projects. Be mindful and be ready to bump into old friends from the past. Old like-minded people can resurface. Group communications can feel a little bit scattered. If you want to finish something in regards to a group, that can also be a little bit delayed. Just know that it's supposed to, and you might also rethink your involvement in some kind of cause or an event or a collective project. Something might be delayed in that as well. But Mars is also in this house. So be mindful that group conversations or conversations within your friend group can actually heat up pretty quickly this month. Choose your words very, very carefully. Not a time to go out and have a fight with your friends. It's going to take longer for you to make up. Edit your plans for the future, adjust your expectations. Do not force any big moves in this department right now. Then on November the 18th, it's going to dip back into Scorpio. And then it's about your 10th house, so about your career. If you are self-employed, about your business, about your reputation, your leadership as well. So that is going to shift the focus towards your professional path for the last phase of the Mercury retro. So you might have news or hear some news from an old boss or someone who has a kind of authority role or an authority figure. Can be one of your parents again, because the 10th is actually mostly the father. But with Uranus back in the 4th, it can definitely also be connected to the mother during this time. But you might also return to like a previous role within your career. You might refine your strategy, restructure your business, or actually totally reassess your professional identity. Then on November the 19th, we're going to have a new moon in the sign of Scorpio. So pretty intense. It's also happening in your 10th house. So your public image, it's actually a next chapter around leadership. This one is very visible. Whatever you do right now in the career area is going to be very, very noticeable by the outside world. Whenever we have a moon on the top of the chart, people are going to know whatever you're doing. So if you do something very good, everyone's going to know. If you F up, everyone is going to know as well. So be a little bit mindful about what you release, what you say to the public. This is actually a big moment to set long-term new career intentions. Even if like the exact form isn't fully clear yet, just know that Scorpio wants more depth and it's about purpose and power. So best to commit to actually a new path that reflects more of your authentic self. Then, is there something else I want to say? Yeah, well, Jupiter is going to go retrograde in your 6th. So definitely an emphasis on how productive you've been in the last few months. With Jupiter in the 6th, there can be a very massive workload that you need to get through. There can be a lot of business in your daily routines, especially with Mercury and Mars on top of each other as well. A few times now during the next few weeks, there's definitely an emphasis on how do my daily routines do they make me happy? Do they have a positive effect on my health and well-being? If you've been suffering with major health concerns, Jupiter retrograde, can definitely give you more time to really come up with some kind of solution, and this needs to be an alternative solution. Jupiter can also give you more freedom, can also be some luck in regards to colleagues that is going to help you progress in your career during this time, because we have a beautiful water trine between the 6th, between the 10th and the 2nd. So there's definitely for you this month, the emphasis is really about work and your job and your daily routine and how you make your income. And do you earn enough income? Does your job make you happy? And does your daily routine have a perfect or like a positive influence? A positive influence on your health and well-being. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up with that. Be a bit mindful about chaotic changes within the home and family. And definitely that is going to come to a head later this month whenever Mercury goes back direct and makes its final opposition with Uranus before it moves back into your 11th house, where your friendships are sitting. So good luck, my dear Aquarius. Then we have Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have a full moon in Taurus that is going to happen in your 3rd house on November the 5th. So the 3rd, it is about communication, learning, travel, technology, being on the road, short distance travel, like road trips. So yeah, this is bringing like a cycle that began in spring to a very big point of culmination and clarity in those areas. You might finalize a new contract, which is be careful about finalizing a contract because it's very strongly implicated here in the chart. But be mindful, guys, we are on the brink of a Mercury retrograde. So be careful about finalizing something impulsively. If you've been working on it for quite some time, then it's okay to do that. But if something totally new pops up, take some time to really look that through. You can also finish a course. You can have some kind of certification. You might also wrap up a writing project or some kind of project in communication or blogging or social media as well. You might like finish up reading a book or releasing a book. And you can also receive important news that involves your siblings or your neighbors. Taurus here, it wants practical results. It also wants grounded solutions. So whatever is unfolding is actually meant to strengthen your daily rhythms. And it's also about the conscious mind here in the third house. And because Uranus is going to dip back into the sign of Taurus, there might be some unexpected changes in how your nervous system operates, because you're dealing with like a sensory overload. Uranus dipping back into the third house of the mind can definitely be like a little bit overwhelming. Do not doom scroll, and be mindful about the dopamine hits and the short attention span. Your mind is really, really susceptible by technology whenever Uranus dips back into this house. So there can also be unexpected changes in travel, especially road trips or short distance. You might also need to renew maybe a communication tool like a phone or a computer, and there can also be definitely some unexpected changes happening in your schedule. So yeah, keep your plans a little bit flexible, double check every detail, and really lean into the Taurus calm energy. Slow down. That is actually going to help you to move forward more efficiently, because on November the 9th we're going to have a Mercury retrograde, and for you that's going to dip back from the 10th to the 9th house at the top of the chart. It is very important in regards to career. So it could be that you like spend some money on something new in regards to communication that is related to your career. Mercury and Mars are on top of each other. So yeah, very busy time in regards to your career. And the 10th, of course, is also about your reputation and your direction in life. So a Mercury retro here is about reviewing your public image and also your professional goals. You might reconsider an old job, an old leadership role, some old project from the past can pop up again. Excuse me, you can also reconnect with past professional contracts, or they can also come onto your path again. Clarify your message and your strategy before moving forward is my biggest tip for you. Mars is also here in the 10th. There can definitely be some tension with bosses or authority figures. That is so like general, but think about one of your parents. There can be some tension happening in that. Think twice before you speak, especially if it's in high-stake professional conversations, and also avoid making impulsive commitments in regards to your career during this time, and in regards to business as well, because you might need to reassess that later. On November the 18th, Mercury is going to move back into your 9th house, and then it's about travel and beliefs and education, also publishing or releasing something. The 9th is about your big picture vision, so a very powerful time to clarify and revisit your worldview, and something within your belief system might totally shift. Then on November the 19th, we're gonna have a new moon in the sign of Scorpio, and for you that's also happening in the 9th house, because the new moon in Scorpio is exactly conjunct Mercury retrograde. So yeah, a very big important new 6-month chapter evolving around travel and education and your personal philosophy. So set some powerful long-term intentions for actually expanding your worldview. That you can do that through study, through launching a bit project, also by exploring new places and tuning into new perspectives, especially from people who have a different background, a different cultural background than yours. That can be quite helpful here, and very illuminating, and really like adding to the higher wisdom as well. But Scorpio here, of course, it adds a lot of intensity and commitment. So whatever you choose, yeah, it should align very deeply with your beliefs. Otherwise, it's going to backfire, or it's not going to be so healthy for you. So keep that very much in mind. And because Mercury retro is exactly conjunct this new moon, really plan carefully rather than rushing through it. If you are traveling during this time, calculate some extra time in for delays, and maybe, make sure to have your tickets and your boarding documents and your visas and your passports and everything like that, because you do not want to like end up not being able to board the flight or anything like that. Map out your travel dates, review the details of your new course that you want to start, really draft your book proposals as well. Really, take time to define your big new message that you want to release, because by mid-December, when Mercury's shadow is going to lift, you'll be ready to move with more precision and purpose during this time. So good luck, my dear Pisces. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if this message resonated with you. I wish you all the best of luck during the month of November. And I will see you back soon for a full moon in Taurus, for Neptune retrograde, if I can like quickly schedule in that somewhere as well. Let me know how you're doing with all the business of Mercury and Mars together, and Mercury about to go retrograde. I'm always very curious to hear what's been going on for you guys. So thank you all so much, and I wish you the best of luck. Bye bye.